Thank you for meeting with me today on your spring break.
Yes, of course.
So today what we're going to do is we are going to create a checklist of a learning strategy that we'll use to accomplish the goal that we created from our last coaching session. Or just to remind everyone what the goal was, we decided that we were going to create some sort of student exploration to help students stay engaged. So we were going to measure it by decreasing the amount of time that students were not engaged. So we talked about this exploration and using a Nearpod and using Desmos, which is a great idea. But you were worried about them going off into the wrong direction and not staying where they needed to, or going in the direction that you were hoping they would for the discoveries. So what I have done is I've gone through our book, The Impact Cycle, and it has an instructional playbook, and it has a bunch of different learning strategies and teaching strategies. And I came up with, and I think the best one, I'm going to share my screen with you, is going to be the learning map. And I think a learning map would be good because the students, you can kind of help start the learning map with them, but then they can go off and explore and discover and extend off of what you've given them.
Right, and they have like a guide, but I don't have to hold their hand.
Exactly. You give them the big idea, and then they're able to kind of go and be released to do the discovery on their own. Right?
Okay.
So there's a couple of checklists that I included. The first checklist is just what a quality learning map looks like. So you'll have your guiding questions, your EQs, and it'll answer those. It'll have the one core idea, the one main concept that y'all are looking at, which would be the one that you provide for them. And then they just do it on one page, nothing, you don't want it to be too big, don't want them to get lost. And then we show the connections through the lines and labeling the lines. And it's just kind of organized in a sequence that goes with what they're learning. Okay. And I'll send you this once we're all done. But does the learning map sound like something you would be interested in doing with students?
Because of what I just said, it's like a place where I can put my ideas and goals out for them, but in a way that it's not too controlling. Like it gives them steps to follow, but also allows them the freedom of what they're thinking, how they're thinking, and how they're generating understandings on their own as they're following it.
Okay, awesome. Well, good. So then I went ahead and also attached the checklist for creating a learning map. So this is just the checklist that was given in the instructional playbook in our book. I think that we could make some modifications for sure to adjust more for your class and what you're wanting. Because I know we really want those academic conversations to happen between students. So I think we're going to definitely have to make some modifications to make that happen.
Right.
Okay, so just real fast, there's 4 steps: identify, display, organize, or 5 steps: connect and refine. So creating the learning map, identify the knowledge, skills, big ideas. So the first modification, that you said is that you would provide them with the big ideas.
Right.
Okay. The big ideas are given. Is there anything else you would want to give them, like how many ideas they should come up with on their own, or do you just want to let them know?
That's a good idea. Like, here's a big idea, and maybe like, here's some things I'm hoping you can find on your own or look for or discover.
So hints towards the discovery you want them to make?
Yeah, discovery goal.
Okay. And then that way, again, we're keeping them on that right path and they're not just going off into left field.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Displaying everything. So they say to put it out on sticky notes where it can all be seen. Now, you have those whiteboards all around your room, though.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that your students love to use them.
Yeah, we could put them on there.
And so.
And I also have handheld whiteboards too. So like if a group doesn't get, or if there's more, if we need to copyright more, we could write them on the handhelds and keep them at the tables, like an individual table, and they can be around the room.
Whiteboards instead of stickies. Okay, or in or handhelds.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the biggest thing I think with also this, I guess we probably should have said this in the beginning. Normally, learning maps are done individually, but the whole point of this is to promote that academic conversation between students. So instead of them doing it individually, how would you want to group them in like partners or threesomes, or would you want?
They sit at tables of 4 or 3. So I would probably say what's just natural for my class is groups of 3 or 4.
Okay. Groups of 3 or 4, their table clusters.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really think that if they're creating this learning map together, you're going to see and hear that academic conversation.
Right.
And
right.
what you're looking for. And it's going to hold them accountable to actually do it and not be on their phones.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's nothing more awkward than being in a group and being the only person not doing anything.
Yeah. And I call them out too.
Exactly. See, perfect. Okay, so, and then it says to organize everything into a map, which I don't really think there's any way we could really modify that. Connect the information using the line labels. And then refine the map by adding, combining, and simplifying. So I think by having them in the groups, this is the refined step is going to be really good because they're going to have a ton of different ideas, and then they'll be forced to create that one-page mind map, learning map. How would you feel about coming together at the very end and maybe making a class learning map?
Oh, that's awesome. Because I also feel like, correct me if I'm understanding it wrong, but I feel like throughout the process, they might naturally refine as they go since they're working in this group that has a bunch of different ideas. So this refine at the end might be refining of the different groups maps and refining all together as a class.
Okay. So, and I think
exactly with like what you said, like I think the refining is going to naturally happen within map per map, but we need to do a class refine at the very end.
And then I think that would be good because then, and all of this won't take but 10, 15 minutes. And then from there on out, the whole lesson, they know exactly what they're looking at.
Right.
Exactly what they're expected to learn and expected to see because they've already identified it and they've identified it on their own.
Well, and exactly what I'm looking for them to portray, what their goals are. Yeah.
So, so do you feel good about this?
Oh yeah, I feel really confident that this could happen.
Okay.
The good thing about this is I don't think it's going to change a lot of the pace of my class. Like we all talk a lot and we're interactive a lot, but it's just going to, like you said, guide those academic conversations a little more.
Yeah. Which, I mean, shoot, I think it's going to be, I'm excited. I think
it's going to be great.
Okay. So before we just jump into you doing this learning map, I think it might be a good idea for maybe us to model it beforehand.
Okay.
And since I am on maternity leave, I can't do it in the classroom, but
right.
I could always like model it with you either over Teams, just me and you over Teams, or in person, just to kind of get an idea of how it would look and make sure that it's what you want.
Right.
On paper as well as not just in theory.
Let's do it over Teams so it's easy for both of us. And I feel like if you're modeling it with me, I'll be able to pick up on all of that.
So we will be modeling without students over Teams. When would be good for you? When do you want to try to do this?
Anytime.
You
Maybe
want
next week.
maybe one day next week?
Mhm.
All right. Well, y'all are just getting back from spring break, so I'm not going to do it Monday or Tuesday because that's not
Yeah.
nice.
Maybe do Thursday.
Thursday. You want to do it during 3rd and 4th?
Yeah, because Wednesday we have PLC.
Oh yeah. Okay. So Thursday. What day is next Thursday?
The 14th.
I don't know why I didn't just look at the date today and add 7.
I only know. That's a good. I just know what next Friday is, so I was able to go backwards.
Okay. My mom's birthday's tomorrow.
Oh.
Okay, so great. So we are going to meet next Thursday, and we're going to model. So we'll have the Nearpod created with the student activity, and the Desmos and everything, and then we'll have that template of a learning map where I will model it for you, and then we can kind of bounce back and forth and tweak it and get it exactly how you want it to look before you actually implement it for your kids.
Okay.
That sound good? So, and then we'll, next Thursday, we'll choose which topic you're wanting to do and then put it into the Nearpod.
Sounds good.
All right. So let me quickly get rid of my screen. Here's my face.
All
right. And I just want to say thank you.
Of course.
Again, I really appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to this modeling session. I think it's going to be good.
I do too. It's going to be so great.
And then after that, we'll have one. So we don't record our modeling session, but we will record after you have implemented
So
the strategy.
and
And then we'll talk about it and see how we could improve it.